Eala reaches Indian Wells Ro16 as Coco Gauff retires. In less than a month, Eala got her revenge against one of the brightest young stars on the WTA Tour. The Filipina tennis sensation continued her impressive run at the BNP Paribas Open with a stunning 6-2 victory over world number 4 Coco Gauff on Monday morning at Indian Wells Tennis Garden, advancing to the round of 16. The win comes just weeks after Gauff dealt Eala a dominant defeat in the quarterfinals of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. Both players struggled to settle early as serve proved difficult to hold. The first 3 service games were immediately traded through breaks, but Eala eventually found her rhythm in a grinding 4th game on Gauff's serve. The 20-year-old Eala produced a sharp finishing burst from the baseline to secure her second break of the set, a turning point that shifted the momentum firmly in her favor. From there, Eala dictated play with consistent depth and aggressive returns, breaking Gauff in all 4 of the American service games in the opening set. She rolled to 5 consecutive games to seal the set, while the multiple Grand Slam champion Gauff struggled with her rhythm and committed 7 double faults. Physical issues then began to affect Gauff as the match progressed, with visible discomfort in her left arm. After Eala broke early in the second set to take a 2-0 lead, the American ultimately chose to retire from the match. Eala's discipline from the baseline proved decisive throughout the contest. Gauff finished with 26 unforced errors compared to just 12 from the Filipina, highlighting Eala's ability to stay composed in the longer rallies and capitalize on her opponent's lapses. With the win, Eala improves to 4-3 against top 10 opponents and secures her second victory over a top 10 player this season. She now advances to face 14th seed Linda Noskova of the Czech Republic in the round of 16 as her breakthrough campaign in the desert continues. Title: When the Desert Fell Silent. Eala's unscripted path to the Indian Wells round of 16. The sun over the California desert has a way of turning tennis matches into theater. At the vast grounds of Indian Wells Tennis Garden, where palm trees sway beyond the stadium walls and the air carries the quiet tension of elite competition, a story unfolded that few expected but many will remember. It was supposed to be another routine chapter in the campaign of Coco Gauff, a Grand Slam champion, a global star, and one of the brightest talents in modern tennis. But tennis, like the desert wind that sweeps across Indian Wells, rarely follows a predictable direction. On that day, the spotlight shifted. Standing on the opposite side of the net was Eala, a young player from the Philippines who has quietly built her reputation through relentless discipline, fearless shot-making, and the belief that she belonged on tennis's biggest stages. The match would not end the way fans imagined, but its impact would echo far beyond the final point. A rising challenger, Eala arrived at the tournament carrying more than a racket and a bag of equipment. She carried the hopes of a nation still searching for its next great tennis hero. For years, the 18-year-old left-hander has been regarded as one of Asia's most promising prospects. Her training journey took her thousands of miles away from home to the prestigious Rafael Nadal Academy, where she sharpened her game under the philosophy of intensity, patience, and resilience. The academy, founded by Rafael Nadal, is known for producing players who thrive under pressure. Eala absorbed that mindset. Her junior resume already included major achievements. In 2022, she captured the girls' singles title at the U.S. Open Junior Tournament, becoming the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles crown. But the transition from junior stardom to professional success is notoriously difficult. Every match at the WTA level brings faster serves, sharper angles, and mental battles that stretch far beyond the baseline. Indian Wells offered Eala another chance to prove she belonged. The stage, Indian Wells. Often called the 5th Grand Slam, the Indian Wells Open is one of the most prestigious tournaments outside the 4 majors. The desert event attracts the world's top players and massive crowds eager to watch high-level tennis beneath the bright California sky. Facing Coco Gauff in the early rounds meant stepping onto a stage filled with expectation. Gauff was already a household name. She had captured the singles title at the U.S. Open in 2023 and had quickly become one of the most marketable and dynamic athletes in the sport. Known for her explosive movement and powerful ground strokes, she entered Indian Wells as one of the tournament's strongest contenders. On paper, the matchup looked uneven. On court, however, tennis often tells a different story. The match begins. From the opening games, the contrast in styles was clear. Gauff relied on speed and aggressive baseline play, looking to dictate rallies with heavy forehands and quick transitions to the net. Eala countered with clever angles, a smooth left-handed spin, and the patience to extend rallies until an opening appeared. The crowd initially leaned toward the American star. But as the games progressed, something shifted. Eala wasn't just surviving the rallies, she was shaping them. Her cross-court forehand repeatedly pulled Gauff wide, opening space for precise winners down the line. Her composure, remarkable for someone still early in her professional journey, drew murmurs of admiration from spectators. Each point seemed to reinforce the same message: she belonged here. A sudden turn. Yet sport is never immune to unpredictability. Midway through the match, concern began to ripple through the stadium. Gauff appeared uncomfortable, stretching between points and briefly speaking with her team. After several games of visible discomfort, the moment arrived that no athlete or fan wants to see. Coco Gauff made the difficult decision to retire from the match. In tennis, a retirement can feel abrupt, almost surreal. One moment the battle is alive with intensity, the next, it ends quietly. For Gauff, the decision reflected the reality of professional sport. Sometimes protecting long-term health must come before finishing a match. For Eala, it meant victory, but one that arrived in unexpected fashion. Respect across the net. As the players approached the net, the atmosphere carried a mix of emotions. There was disappointment for the crowd and sympathy for Gauff, whose competitive spirit is widely admired across the tennis world. But there was also recognition of what Eala had accomplished simply by reaching that stage. She had stood toe-to-toe with one of the game's brightest stars. She had shown confidence, skill, and maturity in front of a global audience. And she had advanced to the round of 16 at one of tennis's most prestigious events. A milestone for Philippine tennis. For fans in the Philippines, the result resonated far beyond the scoreboard. Tennis has long struggled for mainstream attention in the country, overshadowed by sports like basketball and boxing. Yet Eala's steady rise has begun to change that narrative. Each milestone, each deep run in a tournament, represents more than personal success. It represents possibility. Young players watching from Manila, Cebu, and countless other communities can now imagine themselves following a similar path. In that sense, Eala's journey echoes the impact athletes like Naomi Osaka and Lee Na once had for tennis.